Welcome to another episode of The Latest with Maya. Today I am excited to be having a conversation with the awesome Ed from the 502s. Thank you so much for being on my show. I'm very excited to be talking with you.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I've been looking forward to this. I was watching a bunch of your other
Yeah.
videos. Have been looking forward to it all week.
Thank you. I've been so excited to talk with you. So let's get started. So I love all of your music. Where do you find inspiration for your songs?
Most of the inspiration honestly comes from just like my day-to-day life and the people around me. Obviously, like the music's very upbeat for the most part, and a lot of it kind of is talking about enjoying life, appreciating the little moments, enjoying the people about you around you and kind of what I've just picked up and have learned to be grateful for in my life. And that's really what it is. Like I'm married, so a lot. My wife inspires a lot, and I have a big family that lives within 5 minutes of me, from my siblings to my parents, my aunts, uncles, grandparents, and so just honestly, like a lot of my life lessons, and I just am very grateful to have all these people around me, and those are kind of the things that combine to influence the music. In addition to that, like I get to tour around the world and play music with
Yeah.
five of my best friends, which is like I always say it feels like like an extended sleepover or something when we're on the tour bus.
Yeah.
So it's just like we all are very appreciative and really just a sense of appreciation and joy for getting to do what we do is the main
Yeah.
inspiration.
Oh, I love that. Yeah. So is there a song of yours that is your favorite?
That's a good question. People always ask us this like at shows, after shows, and I feel like it's always changing. I mean, Just a Little While is definitely one of my all-time favorites just because it got so popular, and also it starts off with the banjo, which I play, and so I get to like at the show every night start by just strumming the banjo really fast, which is why I kind of started off doing it. But I love that one. I know like Matt, our piano player, and helped start the band. He loves Perfect Portrait of Young Love. Magdalene, we all love, and I don't know. It's unique because like I feel that we everybody in the band loves a different song for a different reason, and it changes weekly, which I think speaks to the fact that like we've got 3 albums out, but we love every inch of every album just the same,
Yeah.
you know. So, but definitely Just a Little While is my favorite to play live.
Oh, I love that. Yeah. I love all of your music. So I
Do you have a
love
favorite
that
song?
song. Oh,
Not to
no,
put you on
I
the spot.
it's too hard to pick. I love all of your songs.
Hey, that's good. I love hearing that. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, is there a song that you are currently obsessed with?
Hmm. That's not that's not our song. I feel like I've been listening to well, I love Jimmy Buffett. And so I've been listening to Changes in Latitude a lot, just like growing up in Florida. And I like Zach Bryan as well. And so I've been listening to Tourniquet a lot. Um, those are probably the two songs that I've been like playing on repeat, as well as this weekend. I'm from Florida, but my parents grew up in Texas, and so because of that, they love like country music. And I don't know if you're familiar with George Strait. He's a country singer that's been
Oh, yeah.
around for yeah forever.
Yeah.
And we're flying up to go see him play in Detroit this weekend. And
Oh,
so
wow.
when I was young, my dad would always play like the 50 greatest hits of George Strait in the car.
Yeah.
Like I've always loved it, but now that we're going to the concert, I've kind of like reconnected with the songs over the
Yeah.
last month. And so I've just been playing this playlist I found on Spotify of like his set list on repeat. And so all
Wow.
George Strait has been on rotation recently as well.
Oh, that's so cool. I love that.
Yeah, yeah. I'm really excited. It should be really fun too.
Yeah. Yeah. I hope you guys have the best time.
Thank you. Yeah, I
Yeah.
saw him. I saw him play like 20 years ago, and
Oh,
I was like,
wow.
we were able to set it up to go see it this weekend, and so it should be really fun.
Yeah, that sounds like a lot of fun. Yeah. Yeah. Is there an artist or song that you consider to be the gold standard when it comes to songwriting and storytelling?
Man, that's a good question. That's a really good question.
Thank
Well, I really
you.
like. I saw your Taylor Swift poster. I think
Oh,
Taylor Swift's
yeah.
a really great songwriter. Um, that feels like I've always really liked her music. Like I really like. I couldn't tell you the names, but like, what's the one where she's in the purple dress? Is it Speak Now or is that the one?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, like I think that might have been maybe the first album years ago that I really listened to from Taylor Swift, and I was like, man, all this like the hits are the hits, but like every song is really great. And ever since then,
Yeah,
I really enjoyed her songwriting. It feels like every single time I listen to just anything that she writes, it's like,
yeah,
oh, I can really connect to that, even though
yeah,
it's not always necessarily, even though I'm not like the target demographic, I always can kind of like pick up on it. So I think
yeah,
she's really great. I think Noah Khan's really great recently. Like those
yeah,
two are both really great lyricists. And then there's also like, I always feel like there's like the lyrical side of songwriting where it's like very
yeah,
like here's like Taylor Swift like kind of says what she's thinking, you know?
yeah,
And then so I think she's really great at that. And then I think like Mumford and Sons is really good, but they're kind of more cryptic with their lyrics a little bit,
yeah,
where they're not saying, or maybe they are telling real stories, but they're more kind of like Little Lion Man and like you know
yeah,
the analogy of the cave and stuff. And so I think they're really great at saying things that are meaningful, but leaving
yeah,
enough space for you to kind of interpret it as well. And those are some of
yeah,
my favorite artists and songwriters.
yeah. Oh, I love that. Yeah, I love writing. I love writing songs. And yeah, I love, being like Taylor Swift, like the songs that, just saying how you feel and getting it all out there. And then the one also songs that are kind of cryptic, like the person writing it knows what it's about, but then everybody else can interpret it in their own way. I think is such a cool way to write.
It's so cool, and I feel like you need both of them because nobody. I feel
Yeah,
like I always cycle between the two types, and it's like it's really nice.
yeah,
Very
yeah,
cool.
definitely. Um, so how is social media and TikTok in particular affected your songs? Are there any challenges to releasing music on social media?
Yeah, it's fun. They're all good challenges. Like
Yeah,
I think that in terms of like the actual writing of the songs, we don't really like tailor the songs to be like social media friendly. I do think we make social media friendly music, which is to our advantage, but like I've never been like, all right, I gotta write a great chorus that can go viral on
yeah,
TikTok. So we kind of just like write myself and everybody in the band. We write like what we would want to play live. Really, that's kind of our indicator.
yeah,
And but then after that, we promote the heck out of it on TikTok, and you kind
yeah,
of have to. I think
yeah,
it's fun. I know a lot of people kind of gripe about like, oh, I don't want to have to promote my music and I don't want to make videos. Like, I think it's fun. I think it's funny. Like, I
yeah,
don't take it too seriously, and that might be part of the reason why it's like worked well on TikTok. Like
yeah,
there's only so many. I mean, there's not only so many, but I've done so many just like direct to camera videos,
yeah,
and
yeah,
it's like all right, this is I'm probably too old to be doing this, but
yeah,
it helps people find the music, and at the end of the day, like I want people to hear the music. I think it's helpful to people to hear the
yeah,
music, and so I think TikTok's a great tool. I think it's fun. TikTok,
yeah,
Instagram, like it's really cool to be an artist in this day and age where we can just kind of like be ourselves. It's not like there's some weird like glamour or like wall. You know what I mean? You can just
yeah,
about whatever you want to post about. and that ultimately helps people connect with you and us to connect with y'all. And it's just a really cool time to be an artist because it's more focused on connecting with people versus having like
Yeah.
some really cool persona, which I definitely don't have. So that's good to my
Yeah.
advantage.
Yeah. Oh, cool. Yeah. So I am pop culture obsessed and go in stages of shows that I cannot stop watching. Is there a show that you are currently obsessed with?
Yeah, totally. I love pop culture and I love movies and stuff like that. Like I just think it's so fascinating. Um, we just watched my wife and I watched so much different stuff. We watched the Zodiac movie last night, which was pretty good. I don't know if you've ever seen that before, but
I haven't.
it's from. Have you ever seen Seven? Like that movie Seven? It's a
Uh,
it's a famous movie from long ago. If you like thrillers, it was from that. But
okay.
it was about a serial killer and like I couldn't really sleep.
Okay. Yeah,
So
I don't like those types of movies.
I don't either. I don't either. My wife loves them, and like I find them interesting. But it was 1 o'clock in the morning, and I found myself like laying in my bed, being like, "I think somebody might be outside, the house." So I mean, we watched that. We just watched Dark Matter on Apple. That was really good as well. My all-time favorite show is How I Met Your Mother.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
yeah. I feel like I've watched that like 5 times through
Yeah.
since it came out. But yeah, those are kind of some of my favorite shows. What about you? What's your favorite?
Cool. Um, well, I love also How I Met Your Mother and like Will and Grace and Friends. And recently I've been rewatching White Collar and Royal Pains because they recently came back on Netflix, so I've just been rewatching them over and over again. Um, so yeah, that's what mainly what I've been watching lately.
That's awesome. I know I love Netflix because it's
Yeah,
like you really just end up watching the same shows, but it's like
yeah,
they feel new. I have never
yeah.
seen Lost before, but I know that is coming to or just came to Netflix, and I kind
Oh
of want to
yeah,
watch that. Like I've
yeah.
heard people talking about it and have said it's good, but yeah, yeah, I love watching it. Have you seen the show on
Yeah.
Netflix? It's called like The Golden Touch or something, like Goldin. But it's an auction house, and it's kind of like a reality show for this auction house. But he does a lot of pop culture stuff and like comic books and movies and like it's very cool. Just I like pop culture, and
Yeah,
so he
yeah.
kind of finds and puts these things on auction, and it's kind of cool. The second season is all pop culture focused.
Oh, that's so cool. I've never heard of that. I'm writing that down.
Yeah, yeah, it's good. It's like it's like 2 seasons, but yeah,
Thank you.
Golden Touch. It's really interesting.
Oh, cool. Yeah, thank you for that recommendation. I'm excited to check it out.
Yeah, I think you'll like it.
Yeah, that sounds really interesting. Um, Yeah, I recently also I just have a list of shows that I just go back to that are like my comfort shows. And so recently I've gone and like all the shows I just mentioned are on there, and then like there's a Netflix show called Alexa and Katie that I love that I recently like I'm going back to and watching it for I don't know how many times I've seen it already, but like 100 times, and I don't get sick of it. So
You got to have your comfort shows. You got to have your
yeah,
comfort shows.
yeah,
That's one of my favorite things about How I Met Your Mother. Is like the other night I
yeah,
just put a random episode on, and it's like I know what's going on because I've seen it so many times, so it's fun.
yeah, yeah, definitely. Yeah, How I Met Your Mother, yeah, is another comfort show of mine too. I remember it was all I watched at the start of the pandemic and lockdown.
Yeah.
Um, it was How I Met Your Mother and White Collar. Those were like the two shows that I just watched nonstop.
That's a good way to start off the pandemic, I'd say.
Yeah,
Quality watching.
I think so. Yes, I think so. Um, if you had a warning label, what would yours say?
A warning label. Huh. That's a good question. Maybe like high energy, talks a lot. Maybe something like that. Warning, like if you're on edge to be annoyed, I'll talk a lot and might be a lot of energy around you. I got to go to different rooms sometimes. When my wife's over there, she's laughing at me. Sometimes I got to go to the other room because she'll be like, "Why are you talking so much?" That's not a bad thing, though, I don't think.
Yeah, I don't think so either. I like that warning label. Yeah. Um, so what small things bring you joy on a daily basis?
Maggie, bring him over. You want to see my dog? He's the number one small thing.
Yes, I would love to.
Come here. His name's Chris.
Oh,
He
he's
was
so
sitting.
cute.
He was sitting just off camera, waiting to come on camera. All right, buddy. But Chris, he brings us joy. Maggie brings me joy. The band brings me joy. Just getting to wake up and kind of do. I used to work at a bank and stuff, and getting to now do music. That's pretty awesome in terms of like getting to live kind of a lifestyle that I dreamed about living. So that gives me
Yeah,
joy. And my friends, my family. I like going to the gym when I can. And yeah, pretty so
yeah,
movies, pop culture, that kind of stuff.
yeah.
We've been playing pickleball a lot, so I like that as well. But
Oh, cool.
yeah, mostly just friends and family and general company.
Yeah,
It's kind of is the best part.
yeah. Oh, I love that. Yeah. Um, yeah. So what are people surprised to learn about you?
Hmm. I think a lot of people might be surprised to learn, like, or as they learn about the band, that I just started playing banjo when I was in college. And so it's probably been 8 years now, but starting the band, I really didn't have any musical background. I just really, really liked Mumford and Sons, honestly. And a couple of my cousins and I liked them. So we started learning all their songs. And that kind of morphed into us wanting to create our own songs. And so through that, I kind of realized, oh, I like writing songs, and I'm good at writing songs as well,
Yeah,
um, and kind of uncovered that. But before that, for the first 20 years of my life, I mostly did athletics and no type of artistic stuff. So that's kind of something that I think is interesting in the sense of like you shouldn't limit yourself. You might uncover something you like to do at any point
yeah,
of your life, which is cool.
yeah. Oh, I love that. Yeah. Um, so what motivates you to create even on the days you aren't really feeling it?
Yeah, that's a good question. Maggie and I were talking about this yesterday. Of like, I feel like we need to like find a purpose, because like it's hard sometimes to always feel creative
Yeah,
because I feel like when you're in the process of writing or making an album or like doing a tour, you're like so focused on doing that all the creativity kind of flows together. And like right now, we're kind of in between albums and we're home from tour, and so there's a little bit of like, well, what should I be? How can I be creating? What should I be creating? And what seems to help the most is like surrounding myself with the guys and Gracie and the band, honestly, of like talking to Matt, talking to Joe, like just talking about like, hey, what kind of cool stuff do we want to try to do as a band? Um, and that's kind of inspiring, and also just kind of have to let life come to a little bit and experience things. Um, that way I have something to write about.
Yeah. Oh, cool. Yeah. I just have one more question for you. So I love inspiring and motivational quotes, and this week my favorite quotation is "Be yourself. People do not have to like you, and you don't have to care." Is there a quotation that has inspired you lately?
Hmm. Nothing off the top of my mind, honestly, in terms of quotes, but my grandpa a long time ago gave me like it was on a piece of printer paper, but he printed out a poem called If that I think is really great, and it's always kind of stuck with me about like just being a quality person and doing your best, and like that is ultimately what counts versus the results. And so that mindset has always stuck with me.
Yeah. Oh, I love that.
I like your quote. I think that's a good quote that you said about like you kind of have to be yourself, and the people that like you will like you, and the people that don't aren't important to your life.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, when I saw that quote on, I think I found it on Instagram. I was like, I love that one. I need to save that.
Yeah, yeah. I know. I probably have dozens of quotes saved in my phone from TikTok and Instagram somewhere.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that. Yeah, that's like my addiction. That's what I like do on Instagram, and I just go down the rabbit hole of just finding quotes.
It's so easy, and then next thing you know,
It
it's
is.
5 hours later.
Yeah,
You're like, how did I get here?
exactly. Yeah. Um, that was my final question for you. Thank you so much for joining me today. It has been so much fun talking with you, and I so appreciate your taking the time. So thank you.
Yeah, it's very nice to meet you, and thank you
You
for
too.
having me on. It's really great.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, thank you so much for coming on, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.
You too.
Thank you. And that's a wrap on today's edition of The Latest with Maya.